Greetings to you, my name is 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎. I'm multi-platinum awarded artist, songwriter, and music producer, and I welcome you in this vlog and podcast, Music Business in Details, for every new and upcoming artist to have more knowledge in the music business and to make less mistakes. So today's topic is publishment and working with a major publisher. Before we start, I would really appreciate if you like this video, subscribe and hit the bell button. It helps the video to rank better in these search queries. You did it? Now let's jump right in. In the beginning of every podcast, I want to say that I'm truly sorry for my English because English is not my first language, so sometimes I can say grammatically wrong things or I can forget words, but I'll try to really do my best. So today's guest is, as always, an amazing person. She's A&R in Universal Music Publishing Group, Los Angeles. She has been working in UMPG for 2 years. The publishing world is fascinating to her, and she started her career in radio promotion and quickly realized she wanted to get closer to the song-making process. So she quickly transitioned into A&R role and has been working closely with the writers, producers, and artists ever since. Please welcome the first Los Angeles A&R who followed me on Instagram, always super positive and happy to share knowledge, Brooke with E at the end story.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me.
So how did you start working in music business?
So I started in music when I went to college. I went to college down in Louisiana, and when I was there, I decided to be a communications major in college, and then I started working at a radio station as an intern. Internships, I think, are some of the best ways to kind of find out what you like and what you want to be. And so I started in radio promotion at the radio station. I fell in love with it. I was like handing out stickers at concerts and getting to meet with artists and different labels and just kind of talking to people about their, making, breaking as an artist. And then they would play shows and I would just promote their concert. And I had a blast doing that. And I was like, is this a real career? And so then I figured out that that was like exactly what I wanted to do as my career. So after I had that internship, I begged my boss at the time to hire me part-time. And so I worked there for part-time. And then I just fell in love with the artists that were coming in, being able to write copyright for the radio station, being able to talk to the morning show, etc. So then I ended up working in radio for a while. I worked in promotions, and then I realized how much I loved the artists and I wanted to know where the songs came from. So I moved over to A&R, but that's kind of the journey that got me there.
Nice. So you work now in a very big company in Universal Music. So what's your daily routine and what artists, writers, and producers you work with right now?
Sure. Okay, so my daily routine is before the pandemic, I would go to the office every day. Basically, I always wake up and try to listen to a new playlist, something different on Spotify. Doesn't really matter what. It's just to kind of get my ear started for the day, because obviously with my job, I listen to a lot of demos, but I also kind of want to know what's reactive. So I like fresh finds on Spotify. I like some of those viral 50 on Spotify. Just some things that kind of I see what's trending. And then so I'll listen through a little bit of that on my ride to work. And then when I get in the office, I have a lot of meetings. I'm always meeting with new writers and producers because we're always looking for kind of new stuff. And then my day kind of varies on just doing a lot of emails, just kind of connecting with managers, producers sending me demos, kind of giving some feedback on those. And then just also sending opportunities around. I talk a lot with our sync team who do our film and television, send some ideas to them. So my day kind of varies. I'm on the phone a lot. I'm just kind of walking around, talking to everybody, and just kind of seeing where I can help serve our writers. So just figuring out different opportunities. And then, of course, a lot of my time was spent going to the studio and going to shows. you know, obviously now it's a bit harder, but, you know, popping into different Skypes or Zooms, just being like, how's the session going? And that's something that we're adapting to right now. But yeah, that's like pretty much kind of a rundown. It changes every day, but definitely get my fair share of like music listening and just talking. The more people you talk to, I feel like the more successful I've been in every day. Yeah.
Yeah, so what artists and producers and writers you work with right now?
Yeah, so I actually signed my first writer to Universal last October. Yeah, it's really exciting. She's a girl named Tima D. She's from the Bay Area, San Francisco area. And she is really cool. She's got like just like this really cool swag about her. And I was really impressed with her vocals. And she kind of came from the dance world, which I would say I kind of grew up in like the top 40 kind of like American radio world. So my ear wasn't like exactly completely great at dance music, but then she transferred into kind of more of like an R&B like hip hop vibe. And I really like caught wind of that and like rolled with it. And yeah, she's amazing. And now she's working with like Cardi B and Saweetie and some of these really big artists. So it's just amazing what can happen throughout just kind of building, you know, a writer. So that's been really exciting. She's also an artist as well. So she's really a triple threat and I'm really proud of her. You know, Universal's so big. I work with so many different writers and producers. I'm so lucky to like work across all genres and then also with our international writers. So I work with a production duo called the 𝐷77s. They were really big in the sync world and they're kind of like moving over to like work on big artist projects. They were just in the studio with 𝐷𝐈𝐼𝐄𝐿. Like there's just been some like really exciting things that have been happening. And then of course, you know, you guys know Universal is like all these big artists, and I don't necessarily like get to touch those artists directly, you know, because like the Taylor Swifts of the world and, you know, the Elton Johns of the world, they're all, you know, very, you know, A-list artists and kind of do their thing. And so like for me, I get the chance to work with these like kind of newer developing artists and new writers and then kind of get to see them flourish. And that's like something I specialize in.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
What can you name as your biggest success at your position right now?
Wow. So I feel like success is measured in different ways. I mean, for me, I think like a goal of mine was this year I was really excited because I got to go to, so Universal hosts a event called A&R Con, and I was able to go to basically it was a camp for a whole week, so like a writer's camp where producers and writers and artists were invited from all over the world. And I got to go to Miami and I got to work at Circle House Studios, which is an incredible studios. I mean, like so many people have recorded there. J-Lo, J Balvin, like Justin Timberlake, Pharrell, they wrote Happy there. Like this is like an incredible place. And so I got to go to the studio and I was able to work with like our Universal team from Mexico, our Universal team from Brazil, our Universal, like all the teams from each country were there. And so we kind of, it was a real wild thing because we mixed I put my producers, the 𝐷77s who I was talking about, in a room with a French rapper and a German lyricist, and then a Latina writer, like who only spoke Spanish. And then they made this song, and it was like, and so like for me, watching like the guys from America be able to like teach the French rapper a verse in English and then him completely like be able to do this verse and they all connected via music, like that was like a true like just ode to like, wow, like anyone can make music and it can kind of connect us even if you're not speaking the same language or if like English is not your first language. And so like for me that like just showed success. And then after the camp they did a bunch of songs with a bunch of different people, and like my guys, the 87s, worked with a DJ called To Die For, and then they also worked with Veggie Dream, who's like a big rapper in Paris. And Veggie Dream had the World Cup song last year, and they recorded a new song this year. And then so like now we're pitching that song for the World Cup when it comes back. So it's like things like that that lead to things. That's the exciting part for me. So I think like that was such a success story because I felt like so a part of something bigger.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool.
Can you tell what are the main qualities for artists and producers to have a deal with the Universal Music Publishing?
Sure. So, you know, here's the thing. I think you have to be so passionate. I think that you have to really perfect your craft and know that this is your only game plan. Like, you don't have a backup plan. Like, music is it. Because what I found is the artists who come in, the writers that come in, the producers that come in and go like, this is it. Music is everything. I'm not, obviously I get it. You have to have a couple hustles to like make it and make money, etc. But like to be like, okay, this is my game plan and I'm not quitting until I get to the level of production I want to be at, the level of artistry I want to be at, the level of writing I want to be at. Like, that's what we always say. We look for people that are like, this is it. This is like the best. This is what I want to do. And I'm not stopping until I get there. So that's like a really big part of just, we want to see that you're passionate about it. Obviously your skills have to be there, and I think just perfecting your craft and also having a vision. I think some of the best artists in the world come in and they go, this is the kind of artist I want to be. This is how my stage presence is going to be. This is how my touring is going to be. I want to market my stuff. I mean, if you just go, if you just look at the role models like I have and the role models you have that are artists, it's like they've got everything mapped out to a T. So I think it's like being prepared and being real passionate, and this is it for you.
Yeah, correct. So now we live in a golden era for independent artists who can be publishers themselves, but can you tell what can be the benefits to be signed for a major publishing?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so I, like, in full transparency, I mean, there is so much work to do as an artist already. If you're trying to make the music and be a full-on creative, I think it is so hard to also be the business side. I see it a lot when my writers come in and don't have management and whatnot, and they try to do everything self-service. That's great. If you can do it, props to you. That's amazing. But a lot of times, like, how do you even have the time? Because if you're so focused on your music, it's like, where do you have the time to be a publisher too? So honestly, when you are at a big company or even a small publishing house, but the benefits of working for a major is so great because, like, I have not only my team of A&Rs to lean on. I can go to the more experienced A&Rs, I can go to the executives, I can go to, anyone on the team and kind of bounce ideas off of. So that's great. So that already brings in more opportunities. Then on top of that, I've got a clearance department that if you're sampling music and we need to figure out how to get it cleared so that no one's chasing you and trying to sue you, we'll get that cleared for you. Like, it's all taken care of. And then also on top of that, like, I work so closely with sync, and like, say your song isn't quite right for an artist and we go, oh my God, but it's perfect for this movie. That's a huge opportunity, for this artist and this writer or whomever makes the song, the producer. And that could lead to other things. And then, who knows, a big artist could get on the song because it's going to be in a movie. So it's just, I think we, as a publisher, it's not to hinder your creativity, but it's more so to elevate what you're already doing and bring you way more opportunities and take the load of having to work so triple overtime trying to do everything yourself.
Of course. So can you tell us how COVID-19 changed the work of Universal Music now?
For sure. Well, I mean, COVID has been a really crazy thing. So obviously, like, I hope everyone's staying safe and healthy during this time. Obviously, as an A&R, a lot of my time is like so much trying to like bring people together, to connect people and be in front of people and talking to people and taking meetings. So that part's been different. I mean, obviously the connection is now through a screen. Like now everything is Zoom or Skype, and that's really hard sometimes to catch a vibe. And same with our artists and our writers, they definitely feel that. So now it's just adapting. So, you know, being more comfortable being like, okay, I know I don't know you very well, but like, if you're open to it, maybe we can collaborate and try. I can send you a track. Maybe you can top line it, and then we can meet on Zoom or Skype and try to collab on that, you know? And so I think the thing is now is just being able to adapt, not encouraging anyone to get together. If you do feel safe in your circle and you have one or two people that you like to write with in the studio, of course, if you want to do that, great, and that works for you. But you know, I think now it's just trying to adapt musically to like connect via online. So, you know, I've been trying out with my artists like, hey, are you good to get in a session? And, you know, listen, like this pandemic is new, but everyone's in the same boat. So even if it's just a phone call to be like, hi, like, I really love your stuff. Can we maybe like talk about how we can collab? That's been helpful. So for me, it's just finding new ways to adapt to the new normal.
Yeah.
So I receive dozens of emails, and I see so much of advertisement that offers people to send you tracks to A&Rs, to send you track to major labels, but they want a fee for that. So what can you say to the people that think that it really works?
So honestly, I mean, here's the thing. I think you try to make connections. I don't necessarily like would tell you to get online and start paying for all these companies' contacts and everything, and to, you know, to try to solicit emails and things like that. To be honest, like, I think your music is going to speak for itself. I think just self-promote, get your music out there, get it online, get it on, you know, any platform you can, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, like SoundCloud, however you can put out music where you feel comfortable enough and people can receive it. Work with people that have other connections, make yourself known, you know, just try to brand yourself as much, because I don't necessarily feel like going above and beyond to get these contacts is the best way to do it. Plus, you know, speaking as an A&R, like people are always getting, you know, emails and can you listen to my demo and things like that. And, you know, it's like, of course, like we would love to listen to everything and we want to help. And I think there's a lot of A&Rs out there that are like, yes, like send me your music. It's great. But I think there's a way about going to find it. I don't necessarily love the idea of like people finding the emails online and stuff. And I don't think that's like a good use of your like self-promotion.
Yeah, of course. Can you tell how a person can become an A&R in a major label or in the publishing nowadays? So any courses or strategies, you know, that help people to do that?
Absolutely. So I think, you know, the best way, if this is something you're passionate about, you're really excited, there is so many networks, so many different programs out there. I was lucky enough to go to school and be able to get an internship. I had no idea that radio was going to lead me to A&R, absolutely none. So I think sometimes your path brings you to a place and you're not exactly sure why or how you got there. But I think if you are actually passionate about being an A&R, look for internships in A&R. Look at big companies, look at small companies, reach out to different A&R contacts you may have. Reach out to different if it's a university program, if it's just like just volunteering, like any way to get your foot in the door is a good way. I highly suggest trying to find a mentor, someone that is slightly experienced in the music industry, able to like maybe give you a little bit more knowledge, whether that's a friend that's just a really great producer and has connections, or whether, you know, like watching your podcast, watching, like, you know, being a part of, like, always seeking knowledge, I think is like a really good way to dive into connections. I mean, there's so many people on the internet that want to share their music and want to talk about it. And so I think, like, sometimes, like, just being bold enough to DM someone and be like, hey, like, I know that you're, like, really busy, but I, like, love your music. Like, could we just have a 5-minute chat? Like, I just want to pick your brain for a second. So I think being aware of the industry and kind of figuring out those processes, and then trying to find someone that you can kind of, like, go under their wing a bit. I think that's the best way to get in. Yeah.
Absolutely. What can you say, like, top mistakes that new A&Rs can make when they start their careers?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. There's so many mistakes. I mean, I've now been an A&R for about 4.5 years, you know, and I mean, I'm still making mistakes. I think it's human. This is like a real career where it's a people career. You're constantly interacting with artists and real creatives. And so it's one of those things where, like, we're all human. But I mean, I think, you know, making the mistakes is part of growing. You know, there's things I always say, like, you know, oh, I wish I would have told someone this in the studio, or I wish I would have been a little bit more honest about this song, or, you know, or just, it's just like, it's simple things, but then it's also like big things, like, oh, like, how could I have done a better job of, like, presenting something in an A&R meeting? You know, I think there's, like, always going to be mistakes, but that just shows you're human, and everyone's doing the same job, and this is an opinion job. Like, you know, as an A&R, I only have my 2 ears, so I could hear something completely different than what you hear. And so I'm just giving you my opinion. So to you, I could be making a huge mistake by not, like, loving something you send me, or I could be, you know, or I could love something and you could be like, what? How do you even think that? You know, so I think it's all just part of the journey, but I'm always learning. You're always learning in this position.
Yeah. What can be the mistakes that artists make when they got a deal with Universal Music Publishing?
Okay, so that's a loaded question. No, I feel like, you know, as an artist, it's so exciting to get signed. It's so exciting to be a part of this big machine, right? I think, you know, one of the things to keep in mind is that, you know, you're signed for a reason. I think you get in there and you should have all the creative freedom you want, but you also have a team working with you. So I think it's like not forgetting that you've got this team to be a part of, because I know a lot of artists, in my experience that I've worked with, have been, like, so excited and so involved, but then they maybe want to just kind of take everything on because that's in their nature. And it's like, the reason you signed here is that so we can take some of that load off of you. Like, we will do the business end for you, and then you just shine creatively. So I think like some artists, like, can get in their own way sometimes, and I think that's just part of it. But it's like, we're your support system as publishers. We want to help and just move along the process for you. So utilizing us more so as, like, okay, we got your back, whatever we can do to help, whatever we can bring to the table, instead of just being, like, so overwhelmed as, like, I've got to do everything. You don't. Like, once you're signed, you have a team, so utilize it.
Yeah. So now we can talk about the publishing is your comfort zone. Can you explain to artists what royalties are inside a song and how they properly can get them?
Yeah, so that's all dependent on the song, and kind of, obviously it's case by case, but, you know, a lot of times having 3 people in the session will split evenly. So percentages, 33%, right? it's all kind of dependent, case by case, song by song. But once you're signed to publishing, we completely keep track of your catalog, and every song that you have, you register through us. We get it cleared for you, and then you'll receive your percentages.
Yeah. So how to find a good publishing company, and what can be the conditions for that?
How to find a publisher?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're looking for publishing, okay, I mean, obviously a lot of times it's so if you're self-managed, you know, you're going to have to do double the work of just like hustling to find, you know, publishing. I think, you know, there's obviously you have all the majors, and then you have some publishing boutiques and various companies, and sometimes, you know, management companies also publish. So I think it's kind of like dating around a little bit. You want to find someone that you are comfortable with. Your publisher is almost like a nurturing mom or dad, and it's like you just want to be able to say like, did I do a good job? Do you like this song? How can I make this song better? Where am I going with this song? You know, and I think those are the conversations you're having with your publishing team. So I think when you're looking for a publisher, kind of know, like, you want to know the creatives there. You want to know that you vibe with them. And then you want to find a company that you feel like you'll get the most opportunities out of. You know, if it's a major because you need all the bells and whistles of like really pushing your music to become this mega superstar, great. And if it's something else where you're looking for just, you know, someone to really cater to you and you need a little bit more curated detail, I mean, whatever you're really looking for, it just is going to depend. But like I say, date around, find people that you really love, because it is like a marriage. Once you're in a publishing relationship, it is you're married to your publisher a bit.
Yeah. So, a little bit philosophical question. Where does Brooke Story see herself in 5 or 10 years?
Oh my gosh, that is a great question. I actually, funny enough, I saw a meme that said, if you asked anybody where they saw themselves in 5 years, in 2015, no one got the answer right because no one expected COVID. I saw that and that cracked me up. So now that's funny you asking me that. Hopefully we're not in a pandemic. And no, in 5 years, I mean, gosh, I'd love to be taking over the world with the writers and producers that I'm able to sign. I hope that music has come a long way. I really, you know, I'm really loving, I feel like we're in a place right now with music that so many different people are collaborating. I'm seeing people, and, you know, maybe because of this pandemic, we're getting there, is like, I'm seeing collaborations I never would. Like, hey, maybe after this, like, some of my American writers are going to collab with some of your guys in Russia. Like, that's so cool. And that's things that maybe never were to click before because maybe, you know, they couldn't get to LA. But now that we're doing all these Skype sessions and all these Zoom sessions, you know, maybe we'll have more international intermix, and like music will be a little bit more global, and, you know, the market will change a bit. I also am loving like these country hip hop collabs and things that are just like a little outside the box. You know, I also, you know, I do appreciate the nostalgic return of like some of the 80s and 90s sounds that we're hearing back in music now, you know, and it all stems from just generations and generations before. So I love that. But I definitely, like, for me as an A&R, you know, I have so much to grow, and I want to learn, and I'm so glad where I am right now because I'm in a position to work with new people and develop things, and I love that finding fresh people that are so passionate. But I think, like, for me, I would love to get a little further in development with artists, and then I would also just, I really look forward to seeing where the music industry goes. And of course, I'd love to be, you know, running my, you know, a big company one day soon. So look out, world.
Oh, yeah. So you listen to the music all day at work, you listen to the car at home. What are your personal favorites?
Okay, personal favorites. Oh my God, that is so hard. I love, I love so much music, and I hear so much music every day. There's a really cool girl right now called Benny. She's from Australia. She had the single Super Lonely. I've been jamming to that. That's a real fun summer fave. Gosh, but I listen to like everything. I like find a lot of my influences from like 90s music. I love Childish Gambino. I love Elton John. Like I love like a mix of everything. I'm really proud of people being unafraid to put out kind of like these crazy collabs. I love Surfaces. They're kind of doing something unique right now. There's so many. Maybe I can put up like a playlist of some things that I really love, because there's so many songs right now that take me to a place, you know. So I'm a mix of pop, hip hop, and just kind of I'm loving just kind of the trend of this like viral new music that we're having. I mean, I love Chance the Rapper. I love that kind of old Kanye production that, you know, really speaks loudly and has like gospel influence. So I'm like a little bit all across the board. I listen to so much new stuff, and I find things so fascinating. I mean, like, come on, Billie Eilish was so cool, like with all of the production that Phineas did last year. And so I'm always ears to new stuff. So those are some of my favorites right now.
Awesome. So let's go to the followers list of questions. So Pro by DCO, shout out to Pro by DCO, asks how do I get a publishing deal with Universal Music? So like we already like half answered it. I think he's a producer from LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, so like being a producer from LA, I think, you know, you have an advantage because the LA is real populated with a ton of amazing songwriters and artists and producers, and you know, everyone's always working out here. So I would encourage you to get in touch with other producers, other writers, people that are already signed, and like latch on to those people and create a relationship. I think some of the best signings and some of the best people that I have found come from my producers and writers working in sessions with new people, right? So, because they'll come back and tell me, oh my God, did you hear this guy's production? He's unsigned. You've got to meet him. So, and then, you know, that kind of trickles into connection. So for you, if you're in LA, you're in a great spot because, you know, you've got so many people creatively working around you in studios and tossing ideas around. So start getting your stuff out there and try to find some people that are already signed and kind of piggyback off of them and figure out how they got signed and start making music with them, because it usually does get back to their A&R.
Yeah, he also asked, can he be signed like an engineer? But I think the answer is gonna be pretty the same.
Oh yeah. Well, engineers.
He's a producer and he also engineer his stuff. So he asks, can he be signed like a producer and also an engineer?
Well, absolutely. I mean, look at the success Drake's producer has had. Look at the success Justin Bieber's producer has had. So, like, these were all guys that were in the studio engineering and then kind of transferred into production. And, you know, they got famous that way, and they accelerated their career by being able to do both. And engineering is such a great skill. If you were an engineer, hold on to that. It's amazing. You know, we always need engineers that know what they're doing and then also have a passion for production. So, I mean, that is absolutely same way. Constantly be working and getting in whatever room you can get into, you know, or just sending your stuff around. I mean, if you're both an engineer and producer, you should have no problem being able to kind of just send off your stuff as a sole producer, but then also you have the plus of being an engineer too.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Shortage asks you, what is something in an artist that turns you away from them?
Something about being an artist that turns you away from them?
Yeah, there's like a something in a character, or I don't know, an image that can turn you away not to work with that people?
So, something that turns me away. I mean, obviously, if I don't connect with the music, that's going to be number one. I'm always going to be honest that if I hear something in the music that moves me, it's probably going to move some other people. And, I trust my ear and my gut. So I would hope that, they would take, that seriously. The only thing is I don't think that there's a lot that turns me away unless your music and your attitude is bad. If your passion is there and your music is great, I mean, that's a win-win. So for me, I mean, as long as you are constantly working hard and you're going to work hard, I'm going to work as hard as you work, if not harder. So if you're working hard, we will always be on the same rat race to get you the opportunities you need. So, and that's something that I really cherish about working with, artists and producers and writers, that I'm okay, we're let's work at the same pace. We're going to work so hard for each other.
Yeah, true. Anton the Don asks you, music campaigns cost money as far as marketing. For an upcoming artist, is it better to hyper-focus on a single for a campaign, or is it better to gather 4 or 5 songs and push your music out as a package?
Okay, so I think we live in a really single-driven world right now. So I think coming out the gate with a really strong single is going to benefit you. I think you've got to have a strong song that people really connect with right away. I would say focus on perfecting a single, and then I do think it's important to have an overall body of work. I think, having those other, 4 or 5 songs that you've packaged is amazing. So the answer is kind of both, but I would say having that one song that hits is going to be the trickle effect that gets you the deal you want, and the notice on the internet, and the, all of that. And when you're marketing it, people react to a song, and then once they kind of see, oh my gosh, wait, who is this artist? Okay, let me click on them. Okay, now it leads to all these other songs. So you do want to have a pipeline of songs that people can go I vibe with this person. But I think the single is the most important.
Yeah, me agree. Real 𝐵𝐹 asks you, are artists sought out more due to talent or following? What are some risks? As next question. So are artists sought out more due to talent or following?
So sorry, what I seek out is their talent or their following?
Yeah, I think that's the question.
Okay, so no, I'm not. Okay, so I get it. A lot of times as an A&R, we're looking for research-based stuff, so things that are reacting. But for me, talent's first. I have to connect with that person, especially from a publishing standpoint, because, this artist could be great and they could write a song, but maybe it's not for them. So I have an opportunity to pitch it to somebody else. And I think that, you could have 0 followers and be the most talented person in the world. So honestly, I just go based off of, oh my God, that song was incredible. I love that. So it's more of just an intuition of okay, I really like this song. I really like this person. They could be something. I mean, everyone starts somewhere. I think you do get noticed with a lot of followers and a lot of traction, but if the song doesn't match up to that, then what's the point?
Yeah. Next question will be interesting. What are some risks to be considered when signing a new artist? Risk for artist and a publisher?
That's a great question. So many risks. I mean, listen, you're dealing with money, so you've already got that as a big risk. There's got to be, do I trust this person? Do they trust me? That's a big thing. The risk of signing them, and you're signing them based on one song, or something that's reactive, and maybe they don't have like I said, the pipeline backing it up. You're just going based on the reaction of what people are doing on the internet or how they've released the music. And then later on, you're like, oh my gosh, I hope they get more than just this one big single, right? I think a lot of artists come in, and I don't think anyone's goal is like, I want to be a one-hit wonder, So like they want to be a lifetime artist. They want to succeed in that way. And so I think, that's a big risk. As a publisher signing something like that, you're putting your name on it. That means like that's your baby. You're trying to get them to the next level. You're trying to make them the star and the artist that they want to be. And then, at the same time, they have the risk of going, I'm trusting this A&R to guide me and protect me and make me feel like I can, encourage me, make me feel like I can do this, and that they're not, I think a lot of people fear too that they're going to sign to a label, they're going to sign to a publisher, and we're going to like steal all their creative freedom and not let them shine as an artist. And that's not it. And so it's like just wanting to like I'm sure there's bad eggs out there, right, that are trying to do that. But I think that's where the trust thing comes in, and taking that risk and going, no, you're like, I got you, you got me, we're going to do this together. I want you to win. And that's like, I think that's the biggest risk.
Yeah, true. Paul Hidden Music asks you, are the majors hiring talent scouts? Talent scouts exist anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I think like in a sense, like A&R is just a shorter way to say talent scout a bit, I mean, when we were out at shows and stuff, that was a bit of scouting, right? You're kind of watching and seeing what's going on. I mean, now a lot of it's computer based, getting sent songs, watching videos, like reacting in like that kind of norm now. So, I mean, I don't know if the title talent scout, that I guess scout is still kind of used, but I mean, in the bigger sense, always listening to music, always trying to find new stuff. I would say that that's part of the job description of being an A&R.
Yeah. Mapasa Music asks, it's like a philosophical question also, why do mainstream artists scam upcoming artists? Is there really any money in the industry? And if so, who is getting the large sum of it? So I don't know like what answer he wanna get from you, but like you're like a financial director of music industry who gets the large sum of the big money in the music industry. I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out the question a little bit. Okay, so
the first question was why do mainstream artists scam upcoming artists? So basically what I saw on his page and another page was gonna be the next question, rap Ponzi scheme. Why would celebrities, well-known rappers, let a third-party internet company use their passwords and logins to prey on the fans, solicit directly through IGDM? So I saw his page. So basically, it's showing that like famous rappers like a Fat Joe and some other guys, the game I think also they asks for some kind of money in exchange of promotion in stories, some kind of this thing, and they cheat with that people who pays them, but like at some point they say that it's not them, it's some company doing that. So that's kind of this stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know too much about that. I mean, I definitely think the third party.
Okay, we can sum it. What do you think about scamming in the music industry?
Well, obviously that's terrible, and that's why I think that you've got to really hone in on real connections and not trusting some of these things you're reading on the internet about like giving money to a third party or like soliciting contacts and like people. I think there's always people that are going to try to hustle you into things like, oh, like if you can get famous quick this way, and all those like scams of like, send me your music and then I'm going to send it to this person and all that. I think like really check your contacts and like make sure that you're, like real people, real connections while you're doing something. A little dig a little deeper, because definitely there's, obviously there's trolls out there that want to get a hold of, whatever money you have, or like come up or like steal your beats, things like that. Like I know that's a real thing. So just protect yourself. I think you need to be protective of yourself, especially on the internet. Anything can leak and get out. So just protect your music, protect yourself. And that's also something a publisher can help with, is giving you that protection. So really seek out safety in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. I was even scammed twice with the producers who, I paid for collab and the guy just blocked me. And actually it was just like a producer of Young Thug Gunna, and he got big credits. And another guy was a apology producer. He also just like ghosting me. Yeah, so like that's an experience.
No, you really got to watch yourself. I mean, that's something that is so like, obviously you've experienced it. I know a ton of producers have experienced it. It's not cool, it's not right, but it does happen. So just make sure like your music is protected. Don't send people your final production until you've come to an agreement,
Yeah, totally agree with you. And the last question from followers, St. Davis Music asks you, great question by the way, what are best licensing methods to collect all mechanical royalties outside of USA overseas?
Well, to be honest, obviously I'm lucky because within Universal, we have a whole registration system to collect everything. And, that's different than the creative department. So I send everything to our licensing department, and like they are so organized and so on top of it. And we also have overseas companies. So I would definitely try to seek that out, a business manager, finance manager, get someone to help you get that in order so that you can collect your royalties, and like that you can keep yourself safe, kind of like we were just talking about.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So now it's time for your review of the tracks that people send you to the email. So I'm just like, all my ears are listening to you.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this was really exciting. So thank you everyone who sent tracks. I think it was super fun for me to go through them. So like I wrote a few notes, take what I say with a grain of salt, but I was really excited to just get to know you guys via tracks and just kind of listen to them. So Paul sent a song called Wella, and okay, so it had like this really pretty intro, and maybe we can post these. Oh, I don't know if they want them posted, but so other people can hear them too. But I really, really liked the build of this song. I thought that you could use maybe some more dark undertones to kind of like bring a little bit more to life there. But I also really liked your production. So I think I actually immediately was like, oh, this could be really cool for like a soundtrack. It had like kind of this like, it brought me to like a 50 Shades of Grey, kind of like a dark build, but it also had like a love kind of vibe to it. So anyways, I think you should definitely try to get someone to top line that and work on that. I think it's really cool. Really, I love the direction you're going. Okay, and I'm sorry if I butcher anyone's names, but 𝐬𝐃𝐄𝐎 sent 4 tracks. Really cool. So it was like a little bit more hip hop leaning, some of the tracks, which I really liked. I thought that was cool. I felt like some of these could be sent to rappers. We could get some like rappers on the top lines. But I also like picked up on these kind of like tribal sounds, which I thought was like a really cool mix. So I like what you're doing. And I'd be interested to hear more of once you get like a different top line on some of those tracks and just kind of how the international sound comes in with the hip hop. I thought that was cool. Okay, so the next one was Karima J. I'm sorry if I don't know your name. Karima, it was a pretty name. I don't know.
Karima J.
Karima J. Okay, cool name. So, okay, I thought this was a super cool song. It had like a really like sexy R&B vibe, which I love. Okay, so I don't know if you're singing on it, but it sounded great. But I think to like really get it to groove, I would like love to hear it like a little slower. If you could like time it back a bit, because I think if you're enunciating a little bit more, you could really like groove with the beat to the words. I think it was like your timing was just slightly off, but. Like, I think for these kind of songs, I always say, like, spacing is really important. I would, like, reference her. She's, like, one of my favorite artists. Like, her Daniel Caesar vibes. If you just go back and kind of listen, there's, like, a smoothness to it, and I really think that you could get something like that out of it, but I loved the direction you were going, so that was really cool. Okay, then Tyler sent this song, Skeletons. Okay, so I felt like the production was like really great. It was like very dance pop, which I never truly tend to lean towards like super, super down the middle pop. So I thought, okay, since the concept is a little darker, I thought, being skeletons in the closet, maybe you could use a little bit more texture to like darken the song up a bit, just to make it stand out, because so skeletons is a big concept that I constantly hear, and it has like a really, I love the pop beat and like I love the dance elements you have in the song, but I think just to kind of make it a little more unique, it would be cool to just kind of bring the skeletons like chorus to life a bit more. So just because I say this because I'm always trying to place songs, and like a lot of the themes can be the same, and so if someone hears a song Skeletons, it's gotta like stick with them enough so that they're like, oh, like that was like, it was like fun and pop and you felt that, but it was like big enough where it hit so that they remembered it. So that would be like my tip for that song. But really cool, love the direction you're going, and I would love to hear if you end up changing it to be like have a little more texture and hitting a bit harder on the Skeletons chorus. Okay, so the next one was Castro. Really cool vibe. Okay, so like I loved the intro. It was like super unique. It definitely stood out. So there's a part in it where you start talking versus singing, and you say, I just want to get lost already talking. So you have a real cool sound effect with the microphone kind of echoing, like to kind of get that underwater effect. I just think that if you could tighten that up a bit, just to make it clear enough, because I love the vibe of the song, and it's very kind of like bedroom vibey, which is like I love, but I just think if you maybe try recutting that, your transitions, I think when you talk to singing, you can make them a little tighter, and I think it would sound amazing. So I love that. And then like if you could just like flow your transitions, I think like that could be a really cool song. So keep working on that. It's amazing. Cloud Phoenix is the next one. Super cool beat. I think on the top line, it was like the timing was a little off. I like that song feels like it has so many emotions. It seemed really personal, which is really cool. But I would like love to see you push your voice and use a little bit more emphasis, because like I can feel that song like deep, and I think that I think when I go to hear it, I want to hear a bit more emotion in your voice. So that's what I would say for Cloud Phoenix. Taekwon, you're next. Okay, so the beat in your first song, the intro, Stay, was really, really catchy. I think the beginning, Stay, it gets a little repetitive, but I really like where you're going. I would just say, like I kind of said to Cloud Phoenix, like I want more emphasis in it. Like I definitely feel like you could mess around with the song to have like a bit more punch behind Stay. When you hit, I need you to stay, if you could like speed it up a bit, I think, and then put an emphasis on stay, because you're like, I want them to stay. Like, I want them to stay. So like hitting that a little harder, I think would be really cool. And I'd love to see if you recut it just so that your transitions aren't as like breathy and it's just like a little cleaner. But I think that's a really great song. And then also the one you sent to Be Serious. I really like your tone when you rap, and I think your production's cool. I would just also clean up that track a bit, and then more hype when you differentiate from verse to chorus. Yeah, so thank you guys for sending these. Thanks for taking my opinion. I like it was so fun to listen to what you guys are working on, and you know, I hope that what I've said you can just kind of like flow with, or you can just also tell me to like get out of here. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I really did enjoy like listening. So that was really fun. And I wish you guys the best of luck with those songs, because they're all unique and they're all going in kind of their own direction.
Okay. That was incredible. I think you brought so much value for the people that send the songs. Okay, now it gets to the fun part. Blitz poll. You should answer quickly, but not necessarily monosyllabically. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So 3 artists that you ever dreamed to work with.
Ooh, 3 artists.
Quick. Just
oh my gosh.
Pop the names.
Okay. Childish Gambino, Chance the Rapper, and Florence and the Machine.
Cool. 3 artists of all time you would like to talk with.
Oh my god.
All time.
Oh my god. Paul McCartney, John Lennon. Well, okay, sorry, that's like I name all the Beatles. No, okay. I'll just do Paul McCartney because he's alive. And oh my gosh, Diana Ross, and Stevie Wonder.
Okay, 3 things that you love in music business.
The connections, the relationships I've made, the new music that I get to listen to, and live shows. I love live shows.
Great. 3 things that you want to change in music business.
The stigma that you have to be cutthroat. You can be very kind and work in music. I want people to know that that they can do this no matter where they come from or what they think. You could have a pencil or a hairbrush and be just as good as someone that has a full studio setup. So I think like being able to tell someone that you're good enough, if this is your passion, you can do it. And the last thing is like something else I could change. I also wish for women. I think women are scared to be producers. Women are scared to be engineers. Women are scared to get in the studio with guys because they don't maybe think that they're good enough. And I think changing that for them, being like, no, you can do it all. And everyone treat each other as equals in the studio. I think that would be an amazing change for our industry.
Awesome. So the last question in a blitz poll. If you're going on an inhabited island for 1 week and you need to pick 3 albums that you listen to there, where's it going to be?
These are hard. Oh my gosh. Okay, 3 albums.
Yeah.
3 albums that I'm listening to. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna bring oh my gosh. Oh my God, you really put me on the spot. Okay. I'm gonna bring Her's last album. It was freaking phenomenal. Something that I just love, like John Mayer's Continuum. I just love, like, it's really chill. And I'm also on an island, so, we love a good acoustic guitar solo. And then, oh man, I need something fun. What? Oh my God. This is so hard because like I feel like I'm being shipped to an island and I have to grab 3 records. What's another record I just love? I want to say something like Stevie Wonder or like something like Boogie from the 70s. I need something to dance to on the island.
Awesome. So, in the end, we're gonna make the contest. So, the winner of the contest, what will be the prize? Can you like show up the prize?
Okay, so the prize of the contest is going to be a 30-minute conversation all over music and anything you want to talk about, any advice I can give, and any kind of like mentorship I can provide for this producer and writer. I'll sit with you on Skype and we can kind of go through your music and kind of figure out a plan for your future.
Yeah, that's awesome prize. I want to win that. So the rules, there's just being one rule. You can put in the comments, in YouTube and in the comments, the answer, how to be on the top of music industry. And the best comment, which Brooke will like the most, will be the winner. So,
Awesome.
yeah, we're almost at the end, and you can just share anything you want right now. Just share the knowledge, the wisdom, anything you want for writers, producers, or artists who are watching this right now.
Sure. Well, thanks everyone who tuned in. Thank you, George. You've been amazing. I'm like, if you guys aren't following, DMC style production, you should be, because what you're doing for everyone is so kind and amazing. And these are the ways that everyone connects. So I think that this is just a better way to connect everyone who's interested in music and A&R and just being in the business. It's a community. It's smaller than you think. So you're going to run into the same circle. So I would just encourage everyone to continue to follow their passions, make their music. Doesn't matter if, you feel like you're not quite there yet, keep working at your craft. You'll eventually, you got to believe in yourself, and then you're going to eventually get believers that support you and encourage you to do that. So I would just say, keep trying to seek out your network. It's so important. It's so important to make relationships and do this as a community. I think, music can be isolating, where you can kind of get in your little zone and make your beats and write your lyrics. But I think also there's something to be said about the community that brings music together. And so reach out to people, be kind to people, and just continue to work on your craft and reach out to people that can help you further that. So that's what I would say to everyone. And thanks for doing this, and keep making great music, because we have a story to tell.
Awesome. We always have a story to tell.
We do.
Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate it tremendously much.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Wish everyone to be healthy and wealthy.
Yes, healthy and wealthy to everyone. And I really just hope that everyone can find it in them to, I think during this pandemic especially, times have been really lonely for people, and that I hope that music can bring people joy and help them cope with whatever they're going through. And I hope that also it can make a difference, and you can get your music out there and just it's just a great way to make a new friend in a new country.
Yeah, awesome. Well, that's it.
Anyways, thank you. Yay, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, we did it. Thank you. This was so great.
Yeah.